Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Live to Roll show. I'm your host for the day, Brianna Wheeler. We are back with another great topic and some beautiful wheel queens. The topic this day is going to be relationships after injury. So, all of us are in relationships, and we're going to talk about the ins and outs of that. Before we do that, let's get started on introductions. My name is Brianna. I was injured almost 6 years ago by a gunshot injury, and my level is T12 through L5. And I have been in a relationship almost going on 7 years next month. Let's go to you, Claudia.
Hi, my name is Claudia. I have been injured for about 2 years now, so new one here. I have been in a relationship, oh man. Well, in a relationship for a couple years now, but I have been married since 2015. I don't know how long that is, 6 years maybe. Um, I am a T6. I actually got ran over by a vehicle. She crashed into the car that I was getting into and kind of ran me over in the process. So yeah.
Thank you. And let's go to Lizzie.
Hi, my name's Lizzie. I am a T5, T6 incomplete. I fell asleep at the wheel. I've been injured for 2.5 years, and I've been in my relationship for 7 years.
Thank you. And last but not least, let's go to Brianna.
Hi, I'm Brianna. I'm a T11, T12 incomplete paraplegic. I was injured in a DUI car accident. Thankfully, I was the only one injured. Don't drink and drive. And I've been in my relationship for 5 years. Almost, it'll be 6 years this year. Me and him have been together since I got injured, basically. So we've been, rolling together since.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think it's so crazy when we see those numbers out loud, huh? Because it just is like, wow, it has been a while. You live your life like so day by day with this person, you don't even really realize
I
that
know. I
the
can't
years are
believe it's
going
been
by.
five
It's like,
years.
yeah, I feel like
5 years
that's the
with an
same way
almost
with my
5 year
injury.
old.
Yeah, for sure. We'll definitely get into that. Okay, so just for anybody watching, oh, Ben, thank you so much for our tip. We really, really appreciate your super sticker so much and you always supporting our channel. We love you as a supporter and as a watcher so much. You make our day every single time you send in your super stickers and they do not go unnoticed. I just want to let you know. Okay, special shout out for him. Oh, what's your baby's name? He wants to say hi.
His name's Dante. Do you want to say hi? Now he's gonna be shy. His name's Dante.
He's like,
He's
no.
4.
Oh, he's so cute. So cute. Okay, so for anybody watching or listening in, we are going to be getting into some personal information and just some touchy topics. So, any family members on my side, you can log out now. Just kidding. Okay, so what was the biggest struggle between you two after your injury? How did you solve it? So, I'll go first just to get you guys started on how deep we're going to go into it. I would say that it was probably really difficult right from the start because we were really young. He was 2 years younger than I was. So I was 21 and he was 19 at the time. And it was just our whole lives got turned upside down. We were barely starting to figure out what we wanted to do with our lives. We were only together a year before my injury as well. So I feel like he didn't really owe like loyalty to me like that, like a lot of like 10-year relationships or anything like that. That's the way I felt when I first got injured. And about like 2 months in is when it really started getting rocky because he was doing a lot for me. So he was showering me, he was turning me at nighttime. I was in so much pain. I was having trouble with my insurance. He was taking me to doctor's appointment, transferring in my car. It was a lot to put on somebody. Looking back now on it, I was extremely depressed. I was not okay with my situation. And I went from being the main person that was taking care of everything, that was waking up at 4 in the morning to make him his lunch for work and driving around everywhere, to not being able to do anything and not wanting to do anything neither. So it really put bumps inside of our relationship because in result to that, I feel like he started getting stressed out, tired, angry. We were still young. I was never taught how to communicate. I mean, my parents didn't communicate well. He was never taught how to communicate and how to deal with a trauma like this. So much was focused on me and my mental health getting better that I think his was neglected. And I really say for any newly injured people listening, like, go to therapy. You and your significant other need to go to therapy separately and together, because it is a lot of stress and a lot of trauma to put onto a relationship, I feel like. And that's really what the beginning arguments were about, more just so much pressure, and not really knowing what to do next. We didn't have the community in the beginning. So yeah. So that was for me. How about you, Brianna? How was the beginning for you guys, and your first arguments or beginning struggles? What was that like for you in your relationship?
We actually, I think he and I, it's not so much like we, like relationship wise, we had issues. It was definitely more so on like my end, like my confidence issues weren't,
Mm-hmm.
like I didn't have confidence. I didn't know what to do with myself. I didn't know how to, do anything for that matter. When he actually met me when I was still in the hospital, I like kept quiet about my injury for a really long time. And when I finally opened up and posted about it on social media, I guess he and I had been friends on Facebook, and he just happened to see it. And we started talking, and he just came to the hospital and met me. So he kind of forced his way into my life a little bit.
Oh
But
wow, that
on
is a very unique story. That's so
yeah, it was.
interesting.
I don't. If he wouldn't have like came to the hospital, I don't think I ever. I don't think I'd be in a relationship till this day. I think that him like being like, I want to be with you. I don't want to be with anybody else. I'm here from the get go. Like, let's just do this. I think that had a lot to that like helped me out a lot. But on the other hand, I think that our relationship definitely struggled with like confidence issues, like I said, and then us trying to find things to do with each other, because I'm in a wheelchair. So it's like, what do you do when you're in a wheelchair, because you just see
Mm-hmm.
your average couples like running around and having fun hiking or, walking through the park together. And it's just so hard to visualize yourself like that, so newly injured, especially.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that definitely, like you said, therapy would be nice. And I'm realizing that now, 5 years into our relationship. I'm like, there's still a little bit of a gap between us, honey. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't, you know what I mean? And so definitely being able to communicate freely and openly, and like not being scared to tell them like, hey, like I feel this way, and this is like why. You have to like put yourself in my seat, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
um but I think that, yeah, that's the confidence was like the huge biggest
Yeah.
struggle, but I've overcome that a lot. You have to just finally accept yourself. I feel like love yourself, and then everything kind of falls into place, I feel like.
1,000%. I can totally relate to what you're saying, and I think confidence is definitely a big part of getting back on that track again, because I realized that I wasn't the confident person that he first met anymore.
And you can't
I
compare either. You can't compare yourself to any relationship, because no
mhm,
relationship is going to be the same. Nobody's dealing
mhm.
with what we're dealing with or what our partners have to deal with, because we come with like a lot. We're not a burden or anything, but we do have, our things that we
Yeah,
come with, our
definitely.
baggage. So,
Yeah. It's definitely hard. Relationships are hard in general. Let me just throw that out there. Relationships are
yes.
definitely hard. Able-bodied people aren't making this ship happen either. Let me just say, like,
Right. We're all
even
struggling.
yeah, and if you're out there and you're not in a relationship and you feel like, who's going to let me inside of a chair, all these other negative things, just kind of remind yourself that love comes when you least expect it. I mean, look at Brianna's story. She was inside the hospital. Like, that's so crazy. But there are able-bodied people still struggling. My brother's an able-bodied person, and he's like, oh my gosh, I hate dating sites. I can't find anybody, like all this stuff.
My
So
brother's
just want
asking me
to
for advice.
100%. So how about you, Claudia? What was your guys' biggest struggle in the beginning or even now?
I think in the beginning it was just trying to kind of just find a routine in our normal life, trying to get things to find, a way to kind of make everything work. We're so used to things being one way and just trying to get things back to trying to find a normal, within ourselves. And, we're so used to doing things one way and then having to kind of turn our whole life around. And then COVID hit. So that kind of threw us for a whole new loop. Because I got out of the rehab around January, and then come March, COVID hits, and that's a whole new, different life one has to get used to. So I have no physical therapy for a whole year, and things are closing, and everything's kind of in a strict lockdown, and so we have nowhere to go. Everything's just a whole different thing, and we're so used to being outdoors and going to museums and being out there, and everything's closing around us. So we're trying to find a new normal within that. So it's just different, So we're trying to find a routine within that. Um, so it's just trying to find something within ourselves.
Do you feel like you found that extra outlet for you guys to spend time together now? Are you guys still working on it?
I think now we kind of got it down. He needs his time and we need our time and I need my time. So we're getting there.
That's a very important part that you just mentioned right now, because it's what I realized is that we were thrown inside of a hotel room literally after my accident. It was just me and him together. He was the one taking care of me. And then we were just in these four walls like every single day, all day long. And it's like we get sick of each other, It's like, no, we need our separate things. I need to have things going on inside of my life, at the same time he does. But we can't let those things interfere with our together time too. We need to find stuff to do together, or else we kind of lose that bond. We're just kind of coexisting together, and it can get easy to do that, to fall into that pattern. So I think having that conversation, making it super a point to say like, no, we need to make sure that we're spending this time, whether it's just going on a fancy dinner, or going watching a view, or watching, me and my boyfriend just watch TV together. Like when he comes home, and our time is just to laugh and watch different videos and catch up on our shows and just smoke and chill together. Like after that time, like usually after 5 o'clock is when we both turn off our phones and we just kind of focus on each other for those couple of hours, which I think is so important.
Yeah.
So Lizzie, how about you? What was the biggest struggle between you and your significant other during your injury?
Hold on. I was like, one of my kids walked in. Sorry.
They're like, what, Lizzie?
Yeah, she's like, Mom, who's talking to you? Just kidding. I would say our biggest struggle is kind of is like patience, and him understanding when I say like I got this, or like I can do something, to let me do it, because of course your loved ones don't want to see you struggle or anything, and if they can help you, they're gonna help you. But I try to like stress to him like you constantly jumping for me or wanting to jump for me and do things for me that you think I'm struggling with when I'm trying to figure my way how to do them now, you're going to burn yourself out. And then you're, without realizing it, you might grow some resentment there, just because it's like, oh, I always got to do this, when you don't have to. If you just listen when I say like, no, I got this, like, let me do this, or let me figure out how to do this.
Yeah, that's definitely an important part. I totally even forgot about that version of my relationship as too, because when I started becoming more independent from him beginning doing everything, it was like a weird feeling for him, because it's like he didn't want to do everything, but then he didn't want to feel like he wasn't doing something, So he kind of felt like I didn't need him anymore. And it was kind of weird, like, no, I'm not trying to make you feel like that, but you need to understand that I need to be independent now, and that is very important for my mental health. And yeah, I definitely battle also now with him kind of forgetting that I'm inside of a chair. Like, I feel like sometimes he goes a little too hard. Like, chill out. Remember, I'm still disabled over here. And like, because they get just so used to it, you know, they just get so used to it that they kind of forget about those things and like how it affects us. And that's why we circle back around to communication, honestly. Like, it's not easy. It seems like such an easy word to say to express your feelings out loud or how you're feeling inside of your heart, but it's really not. It's one of the hardest things to do, you know, and especially when you're not taught how to do it and you're not taught how to like control those emotions. You know, in the beginning when we would start communicating, he would say one thing I didn't like and my voice would start getting louder and louder, you know, because my mom she talks very loud, so I talk very loud, you know, and I have to like now realize, no, Brianna, you need to relax, you know, and calm your voice and say things very calmly. And that's just something that I need to work on as an individual and as a woman for myself, you know? So I think those things are important parts to remember. And just remember that, you know, they probably don't know how to communicate either, and that it needs to be a conversation.
Absolutely. I agree because it's you don't want to hurt their feelings, but it's at the same time it's like, no, dude, you need to back off a little bit, or I need you to
Mm-hmm.
back off. If not, I
Mm-hmm.
can't grow, and my quality of life is just going to shrivel as
Mm-hmm.
as we.
It's a
Um,
weird balance. I think it's a weird balance for family members, for significant others, you know, to try to like, you know, they want to help, but they don't want to help too much, you know, and it's like, when do I help? And it's just kind of, sorry, my dog's jumping in the window. It's just trying to find like a word to say. One of the girls, Erica, she made like a rule with her family members that, you know, don't help unless I ask for help, you know. And I think that that's so important, or to just come up with something that they could say to you, like, you know, how can I assist you? You know, do you need any help? You know, like just making that little communication clear is so important, you know. And it's like, instead of just doing it, I feel the same way with strangers, honestly, like when they go to just assist you and it's like, no, I would rather you just ask so I could say no and we could go about our business, you know. So that's definitely how I feel about that. I totally feel you guys. Okay, let's look at the chat really quick. Nicholas, T8, T10, paraplegic, 10 years ago from transverse myelitis, married 23 years. Wow, that's a long time.
23.
That's so amazing. With years, you know, you grow each year and you guys change, and it's like having to adapt together. And nobody realizes how hard it is when you throw a trauma into the mix, you know, and when you're dealing with so many emotions and stuff like that. So it can definitely get hard, but stick it out. And yeah, therapy. I say therapy helps so much. Thank you, Nicholas, for our super sticker. Really appreciate it. Ben, just my opinion, but I feel like it's easier for women to meet and find a person to have a relationship with. I feel you, Ben. I hear that a lot from the guys, that it's definitely hard to find somebody and a relationship once you're already inside of the chair. I feel like, unfortunately, it comes down to stereotypes. You know, it comes down to like the society being ignorant and not really
Absolutely.
knowing. I would say don't give up on it, you know, and the best thing is for you to become confident within yourself and within your routine so that you don't give them any questions, um, any unanswered questions, you know, and you come in there secure in your relationship, you know, and it kind of makes them kind of follow along with it. So that would be my advice for you. Do you guys have any advice for guys looking for love in a wheelchair? Anybody? No. Okay.
I say
There's love
confidence.
out there.
There's love out there.
Confidence is sexy.
For sure. Hi, Peter. Thank you for joining. Ben, definitely best to love yourself before you look for love. Yes. Um, mm, mm, mm.
Definitely,
Brianna
I
does
feel
a
like
great
when you're in a
job.
wheelchair looking for love, you have to put yourself out there more than the normal person. You can't just kind of wait for your person to come. That's, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm,
I feel like just get out there and find a hobby and start doing it, like go to the gym or do like some sort of sports, and then maybe you'll find your little groove. Because they really, I
mhm.
feel like stereotypes are such a big thing now, and I feel like people are just kind of look at us and are like, oh, and they don't realize that we have all these lives and personalities and hobbies and things that we like and can do, so you just
Oh.
got to show the world you can do it, and your honey will come.
That is great advice. I think it's so important. A lot of people are just sitting at home and expecting to find love, and it's like it doesn't work like that. Like a lot of people that I know that are in relationships have found them like already out inside of the world, Not saying that dating sites don't exist, but I just feel like a lot more people have like these high expectations and they don't really get to know you. And the moment that they see one sign of an issue, or a problem, then it's easy for them to run. And what I say to that is that those people weren't meant to be in your life. They're not strong enough for this injury, and you can't fault them for that. Some people aren't strong enough, and they do need to walk away and like figure out their own life, unfortunately. Hopefully in the future it's not like that, but for now it definitely is. So get out there, love yourself, all great advice. Brianna does a great job on the Women's Live to Roll show. Thank you so much, Ben. Appreciate it. The moment with Lizzie and her daughter is so cute. Nicole said that. Oh, did I say Nicholas? Sorry. There's another Nicole in there. Sorry, didn't mean to pronounce that wrong. Okay, we're good. Okay. So moving on to the more touchier subjects. What was your biggest struggle with getting physical, and how did you fix it? So this is a hard one to talk about, definitely in public, because who just goes out and discusses their sex life, but it is the burning freaking question, it is the burning question that able-bodied people want to know. It's a burning question that everybody wants to know. Newly injured people, one of the first questions I get asked is like, can I still be intimate? What's going down with this? Especially if they're in a relationship, it just is their first thoughts. If they're married, a lot of them have questions about it as well. And so I feel like it's important to talk about when we're discussing relationships. For me, it was very hard. And going back to what Brianna said, it's like it was confidence. It was in my head. It was like me not feeling myself anymore, me not being that sexy young person that I created and that confident person that I was before my injury all went down the drain. I was so inside of my head that I almost wanted to cry during it. Like that's how emotional I was. I remember being in the hospital and texting my mom because they were wiping me, the nurses were wiping me, and I couldn't feel myself. And it was like an overwhelming emotion for me. And it was such an ugly feeling to feel. And I have nerve damage, I'm incomplete. So it was also painful. It was not pleasurable at all. It hurt. It was annoying, it made my head hurt. Like I was just not into the whole thing at all. I was like, no. But like looking back, like how stressful was that for my boyfriend? Like also not knowing what to do and not wanting to cross those boundaries, but still having those urges, and like it did create like a rift in our relationship. It was definitely hard to get on the same page with that again. And I didn't realize how much of it was me, and like having to learn different things and learning what can be pleasurable again. Like that's hard to do. Like you're not taught about those things. Honestly, you're not. It's kind of like, you just go into life and it's just a part of life. You're not really like taught what to do. So it's like, okay, now what I do? Like the one thing that brought me pleasure, it's not bringing me pleasure anymore, So it's like, what the hell, Like, of course, you don't want to just be like laying there and feel like you're just doing it just for this person, because I feel like that messes with your mindset as well, So we had to have a conversation that was through text message because I definitely could not say it in person. And it was just like, we need to try new different things. We need to figure this out. I feel like we are not having that bond anymore and that we're definitely drifting away from each other and we need to refocus this, and that was a really breaking point inside of my relationship. It really, really helped when I started dressing up and feeling confident and beautiful again. And when I realized how many other will queens are inside of these relationships and how confident that they can be because they're just like, it doesn't matter what that able-bodied girl can do. if you're in a relationship with your person. They want you for who you are, and so you have to embrace that. So let me just throw out that www.thatsexquiz.com is a great website because it allows you and your partner to both submit questions that you're interested in. So basically they give you a list of questions. Let's just say like getting a sensual massage is one. So you each click like what you're interested in, and then they show you what ones you have the same answers in. They don't show what the other person clicked, but they show like what you guys both are interested in. And it's just kind of like that icebreaker that you need, because you're just like, oh, interesting, like I never really thought about that, So it's just like, I think that really did help in my relationship as well. Just throwing that out there. Okay, let's go to Claudia. Claudia, what was your biggest struggle with getting physical, and how did you fix it?
I don't really think we struggled with anything. I was already kind of was curious about it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we were already kind of doing things we shouldn't be in
Mm-hmm.
rehab.
Yeah, same.
Um, uh, I'm a complete, so I don't really have much sensation down there. So
Mm-hmm.
I was just kind of curious to see exactly how much sensation I would feel, if any. So I, him and I were just kind of testing the waters in rehab.
Mm-hmm.
So there wasn't much that we struggled with. So
So how was it for you not being able to feel anymore? Did you still feel like the same bond when you guys were getting physical?
yeah, we still have the same bond.
Mm-hmm.
So
And like it never messed with your mentality, like feeling like you no longer could feel. Like, do you ever remember that being like a thought inside of your head?
a little. I'm not going to say no because yes, it did mess with my mind because I do miss feeling how I used to, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Not going to say no.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
definitely.
but we still share the same bond. We still have the same love,
Mm-hmm.
so
That's great.
it's
That's
still
great to
love.
hear. Mm-hmm.
It's still
Love it.
love. It's still romance. So all that's still there. The same chemistry is still there. So not much has
I think
changed.
that's so beautiful. I think that that's so important inside a relationship. I feel like a big part of mine played with me not being in a relationship long with my boyfriend before this. So it was just like we never really had that, like super deep
Mhm.
connection, anyways. So it was just like really hard for us, definitely. Um, yeah. So let's go to Lizzie. How was it for you, Lizzie, getting physical?
I would agree with you. Like the hardest thing you would be, the lack of confidence or just like being too much in my head about it because obviously your life changes. You're used to one thing and then it not being there or you not being able to feel no more. Like, of course it's a Debbie Downer. Like, um,
Mhm.
but it also helps you kind of like reevaluate. Like it's like, do I want sex or do I want intimacy from my partner? Like, is it because the body wants sex, the soul wants intimacy.
Mhm.
So it's like, which one is it? The physical thing, like being able to have sex, or is it just like my partner wanting to, touch me, hold me, kiss me, and all that stuff, and making me feel desirable, things like that.
Mhm. That was beautifully
Um,
said. I think that that's so true. It's like big difference inside of your head, and it's like kind of like sex or making love. Like when you're younger, you don't really think about it, but as you get older and you feel that bond with somebody and that love with somebody, like looking in somebody's eyes or just feeling them hold you, it's a different sensation. It's a different type of feeling, and I feel like that's where the pleasure comes in, is how much in love you guys are with each other at that moment, and like I think that that's really important. So Lizzie, you're fairly new too as well. So how was it like right after you got injured that you were already interested in this, or how long did it take you guys to really get your groove back, would you say?
Um, I would s- I would say like once I came home and was a little more situated from rehab. Um, but even at that point, it's like, I have toddlers, so there's like, still struggles that even able-bodied people go through. It's like, how do you get
Mm-hmm.
around making time when you got kids coming in and out of the room or someone waking up in the middle of the night? Um,
Mm-hmm.
I lost my train of thought. I was gonna say something else, but I forgot.
No worries, no worries. Happens to me all the time. I wind up just like keep on talking, and then I'm like, okay, on a tangent, need to
Yeah,
retract.
yeah.
No worries.
Okay.
Okay. So Brianna, how was it for you? So you were fairly new and you didn't really know anything. You were never physical with this guy before. So how was it? Did he
No.
have tons of questions? Like, did you have the answers for him? I'm so curious.
He and I don't know. I kind of engaged the first thing. I think the first, we didn't like, I didn't let him touch me at all for like a really long time. I feel like I made
Mhm,
the first move and kind of like showed him, like, hey, I can still have fun, but let me
mhm,
brace into it. But our very first time, I was in the hospital still in rehab, they let him spend the night. And I don't know what made me kind of like want to do it. I don't think we had any struggles really, but I think I finally was like, okay, I'm curious. When I was first injured, I couldn't feel anything below my level of injury, like below my belly button at all. Everything was numb. And so when I first started kind of like social or like experimenting with him, I don't know, I guess I wasn't too curious for myself because like I can't feel, it's not going to be fun for me anyway. So I think I was more focused on him and his
mhm,
pleasures. But then once I started getting feeling back and stuff, I was like, oh my God, I'm really curious now. Like I kind of want to see what it's like down there. But I think it was, I kind of lost my train of thought there, but I think that the struggles and stuff definitely, like confidence, as soon as I found out that I still liked it too, I guess I feel like we bonded a lot better. It was nicer to have that physical connection and chemistry with
mhm,
somebody again, because being in a chair, I feel like you don't get that physical touch and like hugs and cuddles like you usually would get and stuff. So I feel like that was definitely something that we needed in our relationship. You definitely
mhm. A
not
thousand.
need to talk about it though and be open about it, and don't be like scared to be like, how did like you like it, and then just experiment.
Mhm,
It's
mhm.
and we're
Something that's
still learning and experimenting now. It's
yeah.
still a struggle to today's day, because everything you always want to spice things up, and it's like, how do you do it? You can only
Mhm.
get so clever.
I totally feel you 1,000% on that. It is hard to switch it up and it is hard to get creative, and like those cuddles and stuff, like that was so important. And I feel like me and my boyfriend aren't big on PDA anyways. So we had to really make that a thing inside of our relationship. And that was really hard. I remember in rehab, he got behind me in therapy one time to like support me, and I just started breaking down crying because I was like, this is the first time that we really like touched and hold each other like in already a couple weeks, and it just like was so emotional for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of things is it's like comparing yourself to who you were before, and it's really easy to do that and to be like, this is what I could do, this is how I felt before, instead of thinking, now what do I do to create a new pleasure sensation somewhere else, what can I do to make this better now, instead of comparing to what you used to do and what you used to be able to feel overall, like I think that that's what it comes down to, and what all of us have said, and what is so important, because you can sit there all day and just be like, I can't believe this is happening to me, like why, I just want to feel what I could feel, like whatever the case may be, you're inside of your head, and like we said a million times as well, confidence is key in this, your headspace is everything, communication is everything with you and your significant other. It's not going to be easy.
Absolutely.
Able-bodied people struggle to keep it interesting as well, they really
Right.
do. And so it's just like you have to yeah, get on that same page when it comes to that, definitely, because after injury, you can throw a wrench into things, and sometimes they look at you as a little bit too fragile. So you need to remind them that you're not fragile and that you need attention and you need love. Okay. So that was super interesting. If anybody that's listening, any newly injured people, if you have any other questions, you can definitely DM and ask like more personal on how to and stuff like that, only because I don't feel that comfortable saying it on YouTube. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. Okay. So, how did your partner's family react to your injury? I feel like I'm not going in order for some reason. Oh, no, I'm good. Okay. How did your partner's family react to your injury? Was there ever any doubt with your relationship? Did they ever make any ignorant comments or offensive questions? I know this is a tricky topic as well. And when I was thinking about my answer for it, I was like, okay, how am I going to say this without, coming on here and grilling my freaking parent? Like, it's kind of hard. So it's just like, let's say that they're very traditional and they had a certain mindset and future inside of their head for their son, I feel like. And I kind of threw a whole wrench inside of things, like I am honestly being completely honest. I'm nothing that they imagined that their son was with, they are Spanish speaking and I don't speak that much Spanish. I am Mexican, but they don't really view me as that. If you're a hardcore Mexican, you'll understand. And they just have criticized me all the way along. I don't blame them because I feel like it comes from them not knowing, you know, they're not educated on how much I can do and how I can still be a woman inside my wheelchair and how I still can be, a partner, a good partner and have 50-50 and even 80-20, honestly. And I'm doing a lot, and so it's like having to constantly show them and try to be like superwoman when they're around, can be exhausting sometimes. And I still get asked 6 years later, like, are you in physical therapy? Like, what's up with you walking? Like, they do not want me in a chair, like they don't understand it. And it is complicated. I feel like they have gotten a little bit more used to it. In the beginning, they literally told him to leave me. They were like, what? Think about this in the long run. It was very emotional for me and very, very hard. And we actually ended splitting up for a couple months because of it. After that conversation happened, I was living at their house at the time inside of one of their rooms. It was just a lot. It was a lot of miscommunication, a lot of not understanding, not an accessible house, which really didn't help me either. Um, and during that separation, I just realized like he's young and he's not going to leave me because he has a good heart. And I just wasn't okay. I knew I wasn't okay, So I felt like you go live your life. And if you want to be with me, then we'll circle back around to that, And so we still talked every single day. We were still very involved in each other's life. And that's where I became more independent because I realized it is hard taking care of me. Like my mom was annoyed taking care of me. So how can I expect this guy to do it so freely, and not get stressed out and to love life, having to do everything? It's like, no, it's unreasonable, So I definitely got a different perspective on that. And that really helped our relationship. And it circled back around to me being like, I'm embarrassed to come back with my catheter and with my bowel program and with all this stuff, like with you. And him being like, that stuff doesn't matter. That doesn't make our relationship. Like, I want to share my life and my goals and my happiness with you. You're my best friend, and like, that's what it had to come down to. So I think that needs to come like a point inside your guys' in everybody's relationship where you realize, like, I love this person and it doesn't matter about the chair anymore. We're going to get through this together. So yeah, that's what happened with me and my crazy boyfriend's parents. Okay, let's go to Brianna. How was it for you and your boyfriend's family members? So you were new to this. So was there ever a problem or was there ever a conversation or how has it been over the years for you?
I think it's been pretty okay. I feel like everybody knows Scott, my fiance, and everybody kind of knows the kind of person he is. He's not not a very doer. He's kind of lazy. He's a gamer. He just likes to chill. Doesn't do much. And so his family was like more so like, Brianna, do you know who you're getting in a relationship with more so than Scott? Who are you dating? You know what I mean? But I think as far as anything like negative, not that I'm aware of. I know obviously there's probably some stuff said to him like, "Oh, you sure you want to be with a girl in a chair?" He's definitely gotten those comments and stuff like that. But my family loved him and just opened their arms, and his family, I think, did the same with me. It was pretty nice. The one thing that bugged me is the hero complex everyone gives your significant other. You know what I mean? Because everyone's like, "Oh, bless your soul for being with her," and it's just like, what do you mean? Like, what's so wrong with me? I'm not a burden to anybody. I do more for him than he does for me at the end of the day. Not that he doesn't help me or do a lot for me, but it's just, I think that was like the biggest struggle with his family and my family even, was just trying to get them to realize that, like, yes, he is with me, but he's not. It's like, don't put him on a pedestal, And I think
he's
that's
not
the
God.
only thing that was going on with him that in my mind that I was just like, what? Like, that's the only thing that bugged me, is that I could see that about his family and him. And like, it's almost, he kind of liked it in the sense too, and who doesn't like feeling like a hero? Everybody does. And, being with us disabled people, it does, you are a remarkable person. Don't get me wrong. You're a special, special person to be with somebody that's disabled. Do not get me wrong. I'm not dimming their sunshine at all, but
yeah, I totally feel you. It's just different, it's like you can respect them for being a good human being and a good person because it's basically like seeing me past the chair, like I'm still a person. And so it's like, yeah, they have a big heart, but it doesn't mean that they need to be worshiped, because also I realized like it was getting to my boyfriend's head. He was just like, felt like he was a hero, and I was like, you need to calm down a little bit. And so like that was a little bit hard because so many people were praising him, and I was praising him in the beginning too. You're doing so much, thank you, blah blah. But I feel like it does like make them feel like I am doing so much, like it kind of makes them a little bit superior in a way, and that they're more in charge. I felt like more of like a, which this is a weird to relate to, but it's like almost like how your parents are with you, because they're taking care of you so much, and it's kind of what they say goes. And I really feel like that kind of happened in a way, and we needed to talk about that definitely. So that was hard. Claudia, how was it for you? Were anything going on with your boyfriend's family, with your husband's family?
No, actually, they were quite supportive. They were really nice about it. I didn't have any issues with them whatsoever. They all actually came and visited me while I was in the hospital and rehab and everything. They went out of their way to keep me company in some ways, one or another. So they were all really nice about it. Once I got home and settled, they pretty much bought me all the medical supplies that I needed and didn't have, and they were all really happy to see that I was doing well, and so I didn't have any issues with them whatsoever, and so they're all really nice
That's
about
so
it.
good. So your family or his family never like doubted you or like asked you questions about like maybe like how are you guys still gonna go out, or like how are you guys gonna still like have a routine or have anything? They just like were on the road with you.
Yeah, no, not with my family. Like my family was all really nice about it too. Um, my family didn't have issues with it. They were all pretty torn about it, but um, they all have their comments like, "Oh, there's medicine." They were hard to believe and understand about it.
It
Like,
was more
"Oh,
about you walking.
yeah,
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, that makes tons of sense. Yeah. Yeah, I
it's
feel like
hard
that
for them
definitely could
to
be an issue. Yeah.
hard
Like I
to
like I said, I still get
understand
asked
it."
about physical therapy and like walking, and like that's kind of what the goal that they want to see in their head.
Yeah.
overall. That can
Especially
get
with
stressful too.
Mexican, especially with
Mhm,
Mexican families, and so it's hard for them to grasp that sometimes. But
mhm,
other than that, they're pretty supportive about it, and we do have some not family members, but distant friends or acquaintance of Moy's, that kind of made their snotty comments that were like, "Oh, are you gonna stay with her? You still have a chance to leave." So,
mhm.
other than
Yeah.
them,
Yeah, definitely. I think it's definitely like a question. And I think that that's kind of what affects the person being with us. If you're not strong enough mentally to handle those questions and to handle like those answers, you kind of do doubt yourself and doubt your relationship, And I
mhm,
have heard a lot of horror stories of people leaving because of that reason,
yeah.
and it does really suck a lot. I totally feel you.
I mean,
How about you, Lizzie?
I gave
Oh,
Moy his chance to, I gave him his out. He didn't take it,
oh,
so.
you did as well. How long into it did you say that to him? Were you still in rehab or were you home already?
Oh yeah, I was in the hospital and I was like hopped up on so many good drugs.
Uh-huh.
And so I was just like, hey, you still have a chance, you don't have to stay around. And so he was like, you're on drugs.
Yeah. Yeah, my boyfriend too. I was like, "Leave me, you don't deserve this." And he was like, "Stop it, knock it off."
Yeah,
Yeah, but I feel like, it takes a special person to be like that. Not everybody is like that open-hearted. I have heard about girls getting left in the hospital, and their boyfriend's not
yeah.
even coming to visit them and them not knowing how to handle on it, and like
Oh yeah.
it is stressful. It's stressful to deal with, definitely.
I was in a relationship like before, like when I got in my accident, we split up during like while I was still in the hospital. So I had to give my out too, but then I had another Prince Charming swoop and thank the Lord because I hate being single and alone.
Yeah, you never know when that's coming, like that person wasn't
Yeah.
meant for you and now look at you inside of a stronger relationship, and like
Yeah.
exactly, that's exactly what happens. I hear about it like all the time, and like it could be easy feel like it's you, it's like what did I do to deserve this? It's
Mhm.
all me. How could you not think that way? It's shoved in your face constantly, and like with so many
Hmm.
people also worried about you walking, I felt like, well, am I not worth it if I'm not walking? Like those things definitely play a part inside of your head. And it's kind of like you have to become comfortable in your own skin and be confident with saying, like, I have to tell them straight out now, like, I'm straight in my chair. Like, I'm not where even if I am still working on physical therapy and stuff like that, I'm not having that conversation with them because it's just like, no, today, am I walking today? We're not having the conversation. And like, that's what it comes down to, because it gets
Yeah,
stressful. And I
it
always
does.
relate to when people pass away and how people go through that grieving process, and it's like everybody accepts together that that person is gone, but for us they're like, no, still have hope, that person's coming back, and it's just like it's traumatizing, and it like makes you feel less than, definitely. I agree. um Lizzie, how was it for you with your boyfriend's parents? Are you married or is it your boyfriend?
Nah, I'm married.
Oh
I'll
yeah,
be
how so?
married for a year in March.
Wow,
Mhm.
congratulations. Okay,
Oh,
so how
thank
was your
you.
husband's family towards you or your family? Was anybody any skeptical or did you ever get those questions?
Um, yeah, my husband, they never told me like to my face, my husband's family, anything. I know they did ask him like when I was in the hospital and stuff, like, um, are you gonna stay with her? Because I don't know. I guess that's what you ask. We come from our grandparents are like from New Mexico, so it's like old school,
Mhm.
Catholic Mexicans, whatever.
Mhm, mhm,
So, to him, it was like, nothing's changed other than the fact that she can't walk. He's like the woman I met, the girl I fell in love with, or whatever. It's like she's still here. She just, she sits in a wheelchair, like nothing's changed. So he's like, yeah. he says he's always told them like, yeah, I'm gonna stay with her, and after that, like they've never really questioned him. You know, because like once they know, like once he sets his mind to something, like whatever, that's his mind. You ain't gonna change it.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
I felt like my family, like I didn't question like, oh, he was gonna leave me because I couldn't walk. Like that was never thought that crossed my mind until like I had one of my family members make the comment like, well, he's gonna leave you now, and it's like, what do you like? Why is he gonna leave? Like, what do you mean? Because all those questions start coming. Like,
Mhm.
are you trying to like? What are you trying to say? You know, like, or what are you projecting? Like, am I not worthy of love just because I'm in a wheelchair now, or like, you don't think nobody's gonna want me because I'm in a wheelchair? Like, it starts weighing on your head, and then like that's where I feel like, you know, if you're with somebody and like this happens, it's like you think the worst, and especially when somebody says something and your confidence or whatever you thought was how you ever envisioned your recovery was going to go, you know, you start getting this doubt and it weighs on you, and it can take a toll in your recovery, and them
Mhm.
saying these things, they don't realize that.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I don't think they realize how much it affects us and how much it like replays inside of our head, you know, and like those questions I often say like it's the world that makes us feel disabled, that makes us feel out of place, you know. And it's true, unfortunately, you know. So like you have to go through these questions because they don't know, they weren't taught in their generation either, you know. So it definitely makes it harder for us as well. And it's like I get it. At the same time, I do understand, you know, that they're trying to be helpful and stuff like that. They don't really know what to say or what not to say, you know. And a lot of people, I realize, like, it's like when you hear somebody passed away and you're like, oh, I'm sorry, even though you didn't do anything, you know, it's like you just don't really know what else to say, you know. It's just like, I'm so sorry.
Right.
Like, it's kind of like that, you know. So that kind of makes it a little bit
And even
hard.
that too, it's like you can't be upset at you. It's hard to be upset or even want to be upset just for the fact that they don't know, they're uneducated, they don't know how to deal with anything like when this stuff happens, you know, the rippling effect that a spinal cord injury causes, you know. So it's like, yeah, they hurt your feelings and you want to be upset, but it's like at the same time it's like you can't, because they're human and
Hmm.
they don't know. You can't be
Hmm.
upset because they
Hmm. Yeah, and it took me a long time to kind of realize that everybody in my life is also going through something too, even though they're not going through the same thing as me. You know, in the beginning, I was just like, I don't really care about how you guys feel because what the hell could be worse than what the hell I'm feeling? You know, like it's like, sorry, your life is thrown, you know, in a freaking circle. Like,
sorry,
you know,
you
what
can
about
still
me?
walk. Yes.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, I'm sorry you're annoyed with what I'm going through. Like, what the hell, you know? Like, it's like, what? But I had to realize like they're going through their own mental too, and they don't really understand it, and they're learning with me, you know, and like really adding my parents into like group chats on social media and bringing my dad that lives closer to me to groups, you know, and like having them basically just hearing other people's story, you know, just like I didn't know it was possible to live my life in a chair, they don't know neither. So I feel like social media has given me like a great kind of resource to show them like who I am, you know, and what I am capable to do. And like even like reposting like, you know, girls with kids and stuff like that. Like his mom never thought that I could get pregnant. Like she just thought inside of her head, like it was out her head. I'm like, I'm not trying to get pregnant, girl. Still sorry about that, but I can, you know? So that was definitely a talk. So I think social media and just showing them what you got, you know, and we realize like when you become confident in yourself, you'll kind of see that kind of reflect in everybody else, you know. So yeah. Okay, let's take a break to look at the comments really quick. Let's see what's going on. A lot of people are commenting. Where was I? Um, oh, Ben and Peter are just chatting over here. No worries, no worries. Just saying without my dogs, life would not be as awesome. I agree. I love my puppy. Thank you, Nicole, for our super chat. I appreciate it so much. Thank you. Thank you for watching and supporting us. We love you so much. Um, I learned in the army if you can't laugh at your problems, they eat you alive. So true, so true. Sometimes when
Dark
something
humor
happens
is
to me
my
now, I
best
just
friend.
like, yeah, I literally just have to start laughing. I'm just like, it's life at this point. I just gotta keep on going, man. Folks think I'm a little off because I laugh when I fall out of my chair or struggle doing something. I learned a long time ago to laugh at every difficult moment in my life. Yeah, humor is a big, important part of this. And like learning to joke around and not be so sensitive about this injury, it's a challenge in the beginning, you know.
Mhm.
Don't get me wrong. Anybody that's newly injured listening, it takes time. It really does. Like, they still say when you're 2 years, 3 years out that you're newly injured. I mean, I still have Will friends that think that I'm newly injured being 6 years out, you know, because they're already like 20 years out and stuff like that. So they still think I'm a baby learning things, you know. So just take it day by day. That's all you can do, you know. Grow and learn together every day. That's all I'll say. It takes a survivor to handle this live to roll life. Yeah, I love that saying. I'm gonna put it on a t-shirt. Um, Hey, Paralife. Oh, Paralife. Good evening, Live to Roll, and everyone in the chat. Quick stop to say hey. Hey, thank you for joining us and watching and supporting. We really appreciate it. Okay, perfect. Okay, and then I also want to say that the show is sponsored by urology professionals and mobility professionals. They handle all your best catheter and urology supplies. They are amazing at what they do. It really comes from a team of people that know how stressful this is for us and how hard it is to deal with these companies that don't care that we can't pee without their products, you know, which can be super annoying. And this company really does. They take the time to communicate with you to get your order fast, to get you what you need fast. I even like came to them with some questions of like, hey, this is what I need. Don't really know what it's called. Don't really know it's a thing, but I'm having this problem. They figured it out right away for me. Really, really love them. And they provide the best wheelchairs as well. They really fit it custom to you because they know what it's like to have a wheelchair that's not custom to you and that a tool that you don't feel comfortable in. So they really try hard to give each person a customized one that fits them perfectly, and they're so great at that. So just want to throw that in there. Check them out, both of those companies. Okay, so our last question is going to be, did you ever struggle with feeling like less than a woman or partner because of what you no longer could do? And how did you get out of that mindset? So we definitely have touched on this throughout the live. We all struggled a little bit, I think, in the beginning, finding that new identity. For me, I
Ooh,
really had to
can I add
realize.
something?
What'd you say, Lizzie?
I said, "Ooh, can I add something?"
Yes.
I I was thinking about this earlier, and I think like most I think most of us, when we look at like podcasts, when it comes to us being in a wheelchair and relationships, it's like, what can we do to help like make ourselves feel womanly or, sexy or build up our confidence, right? So it's like, I have these days, like, I don't, whatever, I'm a tomboy. I don't like to get dressed up. But when I do, I always put on, music that makes me feel good, makes music that makes me like want to dance. I'll go and, start doing my makeup. And once I see the transformation, it's like, oh, I recognize this girl. Like, hey, where you been, baby girl? And I start talking
Yeah.
nice to myself. I start, sweet talking to myself, calling myself names like that I don't want to hear, giving myself that self love because it's like once you fill your cup up, then it starts overflowing. And then once it starts overflowing, that's what you start getting all around you is just love. People are gonna give it to you. Your significant other is gonna be like, oh, like I see. They're gonna take notice. Like when I get ready and stuff, my husband's like, I see you. How you doing? I
Mhm,
get that little
mhm.
extra attention that I was looking for.
Yeah,
So it's like
that is
a
some
lot of
great
self
advice
love.
to add in. Because especially, I mean, when I was injured, I didn't want to get ready. I mean, I looked fucking a mess for years, honestly, for like 2 years. Like, I didn't do shit. And like, I didn't really like realize how that was to him, you know, like, and how it really affected like our bond and our mentality. Like, you know, because how can I expect somebody to love me when I hate myself? But I want him to accept this new version of me, You know, it didn't start until I started taking those photo shoots and being beautiful, and him realizing like, hey, I can still get hit on in public. Like, don't underestimate me. You know, like people do still think I'm beautiful. You know, like check yourself over here. You know, you're not that great. Like it's like a little bit of a reality check. You know, because it can become like a routine. You know, like it just becomes like you know it's a struggle. It's definitely a struggle. I feel like it becomes like again a superior thing, you know, and you're kind of
Right.
just like coincide. That's not the right word. Like you guys are just kind of like going together.
Coexisting. Yeah.
Yeah, coexisting together. Like you're not really in it, like having that special bond, you know, where you guys look at each other and you're just like, I'm in love with you, you know. And it's like you need to always circle back and remember that part, because that's where you realize that that's where the separation comes in, where you guys start living your own lives, you know, and like you don't want that. So that's for anybody inside a relationship, honestly. I feel like it's important to
Yeah.
regroup there. Yeah, and it's like in the beginning, like you know, I wasn't trying to wash dishes and wash clothes and freaking do all this other stuff, you know, like it was hard cleaning up. Like he doesn't clean the same way that I clean, you know, like we have different versions of those things. So it was definitely a struggle, you know, finding myself again. And I don't know. We had to have that conversation, and it really started with me being like, let me see what I am capable of doing, and those being like my list. Like, let's really split this up, you know? And instead of me saying that I can't do things, like, let me try a little bit more, and like, let me figure out different ways to cook and different ways to clean, you know, and put on music and make myself feel, you know, happy doing it, you know, and it feeling like, you know, a stress reliever instead of something that I'm dreading doing, you know? A different perspective in your mind can really change a lot for you, especially in this
Absolutely.
situation.
Absolutely. I agree. Like you gotta, like I said, you gotta tell yourselves, you know, like I always tell one of the girls, I gotta go, you gotta remember you're a snack. You're Meals on Wheels, baby. Like who isn't gonna want to
Hmm.
snatch you up? Shoot.
Yes, you have to embrace those different things about you. And like even in public, it's like in the beginning I felt like, oh, everybody's staring at me. I'm so ugly. I'm sick. I'm disgusting, all these things. But now it's like, look at my eyelashes. Like I don't really care, you know? And it's just like I'm moving throughout my life not really caring what anybody else is thinking. And like that can change your happiness, your positivity, how you deal with your goals, how you feel motivated, how you feel about yourself. So much, you know. I was never taught to think positive. My mom was never like, no, you're thinking negative, girl. Like, no, that was never like a conversation with us growing up, you know. Like she has the same problems, she has the same mental health issues that we have. It's been generations of this stuff, you know. So yeah, so important to remember. um Okay, let's go to
Give off
Brianna.
a good
So,
vibe and you'll get one back.
yeah, for sure. So, how was it for you, Brianna? Like, feeling like less than a woman, or feeling like you guys needed to do that? So, how long was it before you guys were living in the same place, even?
We actually started living together like right away. Because I got pregnant with Dante, my son, like I gave like probably like I gave birth to him a year and 10 days after my accident. So my accident date is May 10th and his birthday is May 16th. So I got pregnant really quick. So we were like,
Wow.
we need to find a house. We need to be a family, you know?
Hmm.
And so I think that we living together, it was right off the bat. You know, he started like spending the night with me at my house, at my mom's boyfriend's that we lived with at the time. And then like I got pregnant, and then we found a little house for ourselves that was not accessible. Finding accessible housing is so hard. We had to take the door
Hmm.
off of our bathroom, and there was no door on the bathroom. I couldn't fit in there. So that was
Yeah.
fun. But but
Accessibility is definitely a struggle. So, like,
But I
moving into that
definitely
new house
think
so
that
quick.
finding your confidence, you definitely get yourself ready in the morning. Make yourself feel good. Stop like expecting everybody else to make you feel a certain way, because it really all comes from like yourself. And if you want to do something, be an advocate for yourself and be like, babe, let's go do this thing. Because, you know, your partners don't think of things that like you could do, you know, that you necessarily know you can do. Like
Hmm.
I send him different like pictures or videos of other people in wheelchairs doing things like, look, honey, see, it's normal. I could do it. We can do it. Let's do this. And that definitely has helped me make me feel more womanly, is finding my voice again and, standing my ground.
Yeah, I agree so much. Social media really changed a lot for me in my relationship too, because when it first happened, we both felt like, who the hell goes through this? Like, this is
Right.
too much. And so it's like, as much as you don't know, and you're kind of just expecting them to kind of read your mind and know what to do, but it's like, it's unreasonable. It's like, you guys have to learn together. You have to look at things together. You guys have to explore together. Like, even me showing them like Chelsea and Jay getting married, like that was a big thing too. Like, hey, look, girls are pregnant, girls are getting married, girls are in this relationships. Like, everything's like, it's normal. This is normal in my community. Like, it's all filled on my timeline. It's just that other people don't follow all these other will queens, so they don't really know that it's more normalized, and I think that's empowering for us too, because you're being shown that you can do it, and that it is possible. And like, I think that's very beautiful. So Claudia, how was it for you? Oh, did we lose Claudia? Oh no, right when it was her turn. Hopefully she'll pop back on right now. We're almost done. So yeah, this was a great topic. My dog's already starting to get antsy. Calm down, wait. And oh, there you are, you're back.
So, yeah.
No worries. Okay, so with you, how was it for you? Did you ever feel like less than a woman, or how was it for you feeling like you no longer could do the things you did? You talk a lot, and we've talked a lot about you having to travel and you having to learn like that, what you could do and what you couldn't do no more, and when to sit out and when to feel like, no, I can do this. So how
Um,
was that for you?
well, it was kind of hard the first year, because the us, we like to hike, we like, and it was hard for us because of, I'm just so used to being outdoors and everything. And so the first year I felt like, how are we going to do these things? We like being outdoors, we like camping, and I was just like, I felt so limited. Like, how are we going to do these things? How are we going to be out there? Like, we're not used to, being in a wheelchair, being out there. So I felt like, how am I going to do it? I don't know how to
Mm-hmm.
transfer onto the floor. Like, it's not that easy. It's not easy to get onto the floor and back into my chair. So I just felt like my world was just limited by that time.
Yeah.
So now I'm just like, I still can't transfer onto the floor, but we
You learn
somehow
ways
still
around it though.
managed to make it work.
Yeah.
So now we opened up the possibilities to be able to, still travel. We still hike, we still haven't done camping yet, but we still travel. So we opened up the possibilities to be able to travel, to Spain, to Cancun, and everywhere that we have been. So we've opened up, many doors to be able to still do the things that we love to do. So,
Mhm.
um,
Yeah, I think that's super cool because you can see the growth like in you, and like the mindset change in you
yeah,
from being like, how am I going to do anything that I love, to being like, no, I can do things maybe just differently. How are we going to figure this out? Because I still
yeah,
want to
like
explore the things I love.
that first year, I just felt so sheltered, and I'm just like, I was so like, we're not going to be able to do this. We can't do this, like, I just felt like, no, we're just not going to be able to do it anymore. I was just so heartbroken. And he was just like, you know what? Not everybody gets to do the things that they want to do anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now we're just going to have to do them differently. And so
Mm-hmm.
we are doing things differently. And it's been
Mm-hmm.
better. It's been a lot of fun. So
I think
it's
that's so
definitely,
beautiful and such a great perspective on the situation. Because people
yeah.
did lose their lives too. People do get sick all the time, and it's like we have to take advantage of what we still can do. And it's like we might not be able to do what we could. I feel like for everybody, we fall in love with a version of ourselves, and we never should. We're not taught
Mhm.
about that. So once we like fall in love with this version, no, sorry, my dog is trying to eat my ring right now. Chill out. And and like you know, you need that push to be like, also not to get in your head and be like, it's going to be a problem. What about if my catheter breaks? What about, you know, if I use the bathroom on myself? What about if we can't reach this area and this whole thing is a waste? You know, like my boyfriend is going to have to carry my wheelchair in and out. Like it all these questions, but it's like, you need to put
Oh,
all that.
we've had so many issues along the way,
Mm-hmm,
even with, he's learned how to put in, catheters. He's learned how to change my SP tube. We've had accidents on our trips, and I'm just like,
mm-hmm,
so many of these things have gone wrong. And it's just like, he has learned how to do so many things, and it's just like, there was a point where we accidentally left my wheels back at like the park, and we were just like at our next destination, and we're just like, where are my wheels? I'm like, oh my God, where are my wheels? And I was just like, oh my God, and it's just like, things can go wrong, and we have just learned to, accept that, many things have gone wrong. And
mm-hmm.
it's just like, we have to learn to accept that many things, you know, it's just things we learn to accept. And, you know, I just like can't put it into words.
It's a part of life now. You know, it's just like we're
Yeah.
going to run into obstacles. We're going to have problems. It's like he's accepted this at point, you know,
Oh,
how many years. It's like it is what it is. And it's kind of like I realize like my reaction to it as well. Because before, when I used to have accidents in the beginning, like I'm not gonna lie, I would be an emotional wreck. Like my whole freaking week would be freaking ruined. Like I would be so pissed. And like before, I didn't know how to change the catheter by myself, so I would have to go to the hospital every single time. And that was just so annoying as well, because we would have to go there, wait for them to come in to call me, to change it, to wait for the discharge papers, to all this stuff, you know, and it would just totally, our whole day was wasted. It was just gone, you know, and like it was really hard for me to accept that I have these new challenges in my life and not to feel like a burden or like the problem, you know, because I think it's easy to feel like that as well. And to just kind of be like, let's make a checklist, let's do what we can to avoid these problems, but if it happens, we got to go with the flow. You know, it's a way of life. What lesson is this trying to teach us today? We're gonna find out, you know. But unfortunately, if you get closed minded and you kind of block off those lessons and you kind of react in an angry way, then you don't really get to take in everything that you can learn from that. You know, maybe you need to bring a different product next time, you know, like maybe you need to have extra water bottles in the car or whatever the case may be, you know. So don't feel like it's like you're taking 2 steps forward and 10 steps back, because that's life. Unfortunately, you're going to have obstacles. It's not about how many times you fall, but how many times you get back up, you know. And you just got to keep on reminding yourself that, and remind your partner that too. Remember, like, whether you're in a chair, whether you're able-bodied, like, we all go through stuff. We all don't know really how to communicate, you know. We got to work on it. We always don't say what's on our mind, you know. Sometimes we need to sit down and have those hard conversations, you know. And for me, I started writing them in letters and writing like in text messages back and forth to really discuss things before I really learned how to be more vocal, because it was extremely hard for me to say these things out loud. Like I really felt like I was having an anxiety attack before I talked. I don't know if anybody ever feels that way, but it was really hard for me. So yeah, just finding different ways, but I can't give up, right? I need, the therapist is like, that doesn't mean like you don't know how to communicate, so you just don't communicate. It's like, no, you need to learn, girl, you know, like what can we do next? Like, how can we keep this going? Like, you know, so always thinking of new different ways. Reach out to any of us, anybody inside a relationship, and they'll tell you, you know, it's not always going to be easy, but it is worth it. And we can do this together, you know? So yeah, let's go around in a circle for any last words, anything that you guys want to say. Let's start with Brianna. Anything that you want to say for a newly injured girl, maybe that's in the hospital right now and is in a relationship and is watching this. What would you say? Oh, you're on mute, love. I do it all the time, don't worry. more so when I'm smoking. That other episode where I was smoking, I was like literally hosting the whole show on mute. Okay, she blocked. She got out and came back on. Okay, so we'll go with Claudia. Any last
Sorry.
words for you? Oh, no worries, love. Okay, you're back. Okay,
I don't
you
know
want to
what
share?
happened. My phone glitched out or something.
It's okay. Did you hear the question, or did you need me to repeat it?
No, newly advice. I think
Okay.
that find your voice, because I think that for me personally, I feel like for the first couple years, I kind of just looked to him to like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What can we do? And I kind of started to resent him in a way. And until I finally was like, this is what I want to do. Let's just go do it. I can do it, and just be confident, because that's really just starts with yourself. You have to
Mm-hmm.
just love and just figure yourself out before you can figure anything else out, I think.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It takes
That's
a
so
long
true.
time. It took me like 5 years. I'm still working on it.
Yeah, that's very important. Take it day by day, and know that it's not going to happen overnight too. Let me throw that in there. Like
You're
your
your
first year is
biggest
going to be
advocate.
hard.
Always remember that.
Definitely, and it's going to take you time to learn how to be your own advocate. Just like,
Exactly.
and why I'm keep on repeating these things is because I know so many people are just like, okay, but when am I going to feel this way? Like, I am so emotional right now. I'm feeling so much pain. Like, when is it going to get better? Like,
I still
I
have
I don't
my
want to hear
really
that
bad
it's
days
going
too.
to get better. I want to hear when it's going to get better. And it's like,
Right.
yeah, you have your troubles. It's like it's an uphill battle, girl. I promise you. Like, you just got to again go learn different things and keep on advancing always. Okay, let's go to Claudia. Any last words for you, love?
Um, Communication, that definitely helps.
Mm-hmm.
Communication with your partner always helps. I am
1,000%.
always getting yelled at because I don't communicate. So communication is key. And it's
Yeah.
okay to cry.
Yes. That's so important. It is
It
okay to
is okay
cry,
to cry.
to get emotional, to get those feelings out. It can be easy to get closed up. I totally feel you. To not, and maybe to even battle in your own mind, like you don't know you're feeling. Like there was a point in my injury where I don't know what I want or what I'm feeling. I'm just sad. Like, I just
Right.
don't want to be going through this. I don't want to be in this body. I don't want to be going through this life anymore. Like, I just want it to go away. Like, and it's like, in his response, it's like, how can I help you? And it's like, in the beginning stages, it's almost to the point where it's like, you can't help me. Like,
Right.
it's like, I need to go through these emotions. And let me be completely honest, not every relationship gets over that. A lot
Mm-mm.
of relationships end, and that's okay. It's not you, it's not your fault, it's not your disability, it's not your chair. It just means that life is saying, halt, you need to work on yourself right now. This is not the person for you if they cannot accept what you're going through at the moment. Love yourself, keep on working on that vibrancy and excluding that negativity of your life, and watch your blessings grow. Let me just say that. So Lizzie, any last words for you?
Yeah, it go off kind of just like what you said. Like you're newly injured and you're with somebody. You have to understand for the fact that that they're human too, and yes, you didn't ask for this life, nor did they, but you can't understand like if they don't want to, it has nothing to do with you. It's just your life's changing. There's or even later down the road, like I've told my husband too, like if this isn't the life you want, don't be afraid not to tell me, because at
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day I want to know that you're okay in all forms and that you're happy, and if this isn't it, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get over it, but I need to know you're happy.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to do me any favors. Don't try to feel, like that
Mm-hmm.
hero complex. Don't feel like you need to save me. No, I got to save myself
Mm-hmm.
in order for any of this to like survive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And like sometimes girls or guys, they can feel like, how are people going to look at them if they do leave you? So like I think why we're bringing this up is because like it's reality. Not our relationships are perfect. My relationship is far from perfect, you know, and it's just like you have to have these hard conversations before you go through life with somebody who is not on the same page with you. And a lot of people, they want love so bad that they let themselves get treated badly. I've talked to friends who have gotten beaten up in their chair, who have gotten cheated on repeatedly in their chair, you know, and stay because they feel like this is all that they can have and this is a person that's going to love them. No, that's not love. And they don't deserve you, not the other way around. You are still a badass bitch inside of a chair. And who cares if you're a little emotional, like, girl, cry, you know, like, no, that's not what defines who you are, you know, is going through this trauma. You're allowed to have that pain. You would be considered not normal if you didn't have that pain after such a big trauma. You know, if you didn't have these questions and confusions after this big ass life changing event happened, you know? So it breaks my heart when I hear girls blaming themselves for this, you know? So I just want to repeat that and let you know, that not every relationship is meant to be forever. You know, that goes for friends, that goes for everything. Like sometimes people are in your life for a reason, you know, and then when they finish that reason, then you guys go about your lives. You know, sometimes we get so attached to people and feel like, I love you, you're mine forever, stay with me, you know. And it's like life does not work that way, unfortunately, and we end up breaking our own hearts a lot of times. And happens with after your injury, you know, I've lost family members, friends, all kinds of people to this, you know, and I had to realize like it's life, that's life, it's not you, you know. So yeah, I just want to say that. So yeah, I think we're done. This was a great, important topic. I really wanted to get in there and talk about all these things. You know, you hear about it so often. And yeah, it's happening, unfortunately, every single day. You know, it's becoming more and more normalized. Hey, chill. And so yeah, so let's see. The ending announcements are: make sure to check out our show every first and third Thursday. We are back with new topics for the women's channel, and Sean and the guys are actually back every single week for a new channel, for a new topic. They're on Tuesdays at 3:30. And then we also have our merch on our website. This is one of our Will Bad Bitches Coming Through t-shirts. And we have a couple other really cute ones. You can DM Sean or our Live to Roll account for that information as well. And what else do we have to say? Oh yeah, sponsored by Urology Professionals and Mobility Professionals. Wonderful company again. Let me just throw that out there. Not just saying that because they're our sponsors. I promise. I always have to say that too because I feel like sometimes I'm watching people and I'm like, do you really care about this product, or are you just saying that? You know. So I'm telling you, like they are really great. Like I love them so.
You can have it.
So let's see. Oh, Ben, you're ending us off with another super chat. Made my whole day. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. And last but not least, the Abilities Expo is going to be coming up in March for LA. So if you're out here in Los Angeles, make sure to sign up for the Abilities Expo and say that Live to Roll sent you, because it really, 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 really helps us out with the Abilities Expo and making that connection with them. So make sure to put Live to Roll sent you. It usually asks you like, how'd you hear about it or something like that. So throwing that out there. Yeah, that's about it. I think we're out. I think we're good. Thank you so much for supporting. Make sure that you like and you comment. It really helps us reach out more people. That's the goal in our channel. And yeah, have a great day. Bye.
Bye.